everyone, it's Cindy です。カナダトロント郊外から発信しています。このチャンネルでは日本ではあまりお目にかかれないような話題やニュースを中心にお届けしています。
Well, Georgia state rules, they require a winning candidate to get 50% of the vote. Well, in November, no Senate candidates topped that mark. So today, Republican incumbent David Perdue facing Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff. Republican Kelly Loeffler is defending her seat against Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock. The master of the big board, MSNBC national political correspondent, Mr. Steve Kornacki. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Election Day to you.
That's
my
right.
God. Running out.
I love this. So why do these two Georgia Senate races matter, and how could these Senate seats potentially impact the incoming Biden administration's plans?
This is the remaining unfinished piece of business, control of the U.S. Senate. So right now, Republicans are going to have at least 50 seats, Democrats at least 48. It is these two Georgia seats today that are in the runoff that are going to decide this. If the Republicans win even one of these seats today, just one of the two, they'd be at 51. They would have the majority in the Senate. They would control the Senate. For the incoming Biden administration, suddenly there is a giant potential roadblock in terms of getting its agenda through, having Republicans control the Senate. If Democrats pick up both of these seats, 50-48 becomes 50-50. A 50-50 tie in the Senate is broken by the vice president. That would be Kamala Harris. Democrats would then, if they kept everybody in line on every vote, would be able to move through a Biden agenda through the Senate, potentially through the House, and then potentially into law. So potentially huge difference here for the incoming administration.
Steve, this is...
We will find out, hopefully, tonight.
Well, I was going to ask you, Steve, we probably won't know because even if you get everything in, if there's a certain percentage, the person can demand a recount.
Biden did not take the lead in the vote count in Georgia until 3 a.m. Friday morning of election week, because now I have talked to some county officials. They believe they learned a lot of lessons in November about how to count, process these mail votes. So they think it will be quicker this time.
Okay.
But
Steve, I saw you tweet that you are not leaving the studio until we have results. We're going to hold you to that. I'll bring you juice and water and fresh shirts if you need them. But what do we know?
Yeah. OK, so what do we have? We have the first wave of our exit polling. So I want to say before I show these numbers, these are not the final exit poll numbers. There's going to be more that kind of comes into this data at what this electorate looks like in Georgia for this runoff. So let's take you through a couple of different things we can say here. First of all, the composition, at least in this first wave of exit polling, the composition of the electorate by race. Obviously, you see a lot of big divide there politically in Georgia when it comes to voting by race. You can see here in the first wave here, 62% of the electorate is white. In November, in the presidential race in Georgia, in the final exit poll, it was 61% white. So 61-62. Black voters, 29% in this exit poll. In the Biden-Trump presidential race back in November in Georgia, 29% of the electorate was black. So same for black voters, white voters, at least in this first wave of exit polling, making up 1% more. Again, these numbers can move around a little bit. We have to wait and see as we get subsequent waves. That's one thing we can show you from the exit poll. We can also show you by age. Take a look at the breakdown here of voters so far by age. You can see a couple of things. First of all, 65 plus, 25%, 45 to 64, biggest group here, 38%. The youngest group of voters, we always have a lot of conversation about how many of them are actually going to turn out to vote. Right here, you're seeing 13%. 13% in this exit poll are under 30 years old. In the November election, that number was higher. That number was 20%. in the November election. Now, again, we have seen this number in particular when we do exit polling. We talk about these subsequent waves. That number could rise. Is it going to rise all the way to 20%, though? That is potentially a significant drop there. That's one to keep an eye on. Does that 18 to 29 number tick up at all? Does it get close to that 20%, or does it fall? Does it end up fairly short of that? So keep an eye on that one. The climate of this runoff election, everything the president's been saying and doing here, do you have confidence that your vote is going to be counted accurately? 42% of voters today say they are very confident votes will be counted accurately. 31% somewhat confident. That's about 3/4 of the electorate here today expressing some degree of confidence about the vote count. And then you can see about 1/4 of the electorate saying they are not that confident or not at all confident. So about a 3/4 to 1/4 split on that question, Nicole. 3/4 to 1/4, that tells you it's not exactly a partisan divide on that question.